Gen Z isn't just misunderstood online.
We got classified.
Now, if you spend enough time on the internet, you'll hear the same 3 labels over and over again.
Red pill, blue pill, black pill.
They're treated like destinations, like those are the only ways someone our age can see the world. And if none of them ever felt right to you,
That's not because you're confused.
it's because those labels weren't meant for people who think before they move. And they only exist for one reason, to force a generation that refuses certainty into a box that can be controlled. Here's how the internet explains it. The blue pill means compliance. Trust institutions, follow the rules, believe that everything will work out if you just participate. The red pill means awakening, to see the truth about power, hierarchy, dating, money, stop being naive, and take control. The black pill means giving up, nothing matters, the system is rigged and you've already lost. And you're told explicitly or implicitly that if you don't choose one, you're avoiding reality, but that's a lie, because it's just a different cage. These frameworks weren't created to understand Gen Z, they were created to sort emotional responses. Hope gets captured, anger gets weaponized, and despair gets monetized. Each pill funnels frustration through a stable identity, and once you accept that label, your worldview hardens, your content narrows, your community becomes self-reinforcing. That's not clarity, that's radicalization with better branding. As someone who is also Gen Z, I want to tell you something
Personal.
because you felt this too, and I want you to know that you're not alone. Back in college, I was surrounded by nihilism, irony, that constant nothing matters tone, and I could have gone 2 ways. I could have collapsed into it or escaped into some loud ideology that promised certainty, but I did neither. I chose to observe. Not because I was hopeless, but because I was brave enough to look at hopelessness without letting it define me. Observation isn't doing nothing, it's actually the hardest thing to do first. It's sitting in uncertainty without numbing yourself. It's watching systems instead of worshiping them, and noticing incentives instead of slogans. When I stopped rushing to act, I started to notice patterns. Who benefits when we're outraged? Who profits when we're exhausted? Who needs us loud, emotional, and divided? That's when everything slowed down for me. If you ever felt hesitant to jump in, to protest, grind, that doesn't mean you don't care. It means you've seen enough to ask better questions. Gen Z doesn't reject action, we reject fake action. We watch older systems burn people out and we call it purpose. We watch corporations wear morality like a costume, and we watch loud confidence cover up emptiness. So we pause, and from the outside that pause gets misread as apathy. But here's the part people miss. Not acting doesn't mean you've given up. Sometimes it means you're refusing to be manipulated. It means refusing to be emotionally farmed. In a world that runs on urgency, outrage, and consistent reaction, withholding your energy is powerful. Silence becomes a boundary. You don't own the internet your belief. You don't owe systems your participation. You don't owe anyone instant allegiance. The pill narratives hate this kind of thinking. They need urgency. They need allegiance. They need you to be emotionally invested now. So Gen Z's pause gets reframed as weakness, apathy, nihilism, victimhood, because if Gen Z is lost, someone gets to sell us a direction. But what if we're not lost? What if we're unconvinced? Here's the quiet truth. Observation does create change, just not the kind corporations are used to. Gen Z doesn't change systems by rushing to the front with signs and slogans. We change the system by withdrawing action, refusing participation, and collapsing fake authority. The market feels this first, then culture, then power. Not with explosions, but with silence. This is what people get wrong about Gen Z. We're not cynical because we're shallow. We're cautious because we're wise. We grew up fluent in manipulation. We can feel emotional framing instantly. And we know when urgency is artificial. So we slow down. In a world addicted to speed, slowness looks like defiance. And here's the part that really scares people. Gen Z won't follow the loudest voice. We won't follow the most confident speaker. We won't follow the most aggressive ideology. The leader Gen Z listens to is the one who can master silence, the one who doesn't need consistent validation, the one who speaks only when there's something real to say, and the one who understands restraint. And because of that, the leader might as well be invisible. So, if you're Gen Z and you feel like none of these labels fit in, that's not a failure on your part. It means the framework is wrong. You don't need a pill. You don't need an identity handed to you. You don't need to be radicalized to be awake. Sometimes the most honest response to a broken system is to pause, to observe, and refuse to move until a path actually makes sense. If you're still here, I don't think it's because you want a conclusion. I think it's because something in this conversation felt familiar, not revolutionary, just honest. You've probably noticed that the internet keeps asking you to react, to pick a side, to have a take, to turn every feeling into a statement. And maybe part of you already knew what I'm about to say next, that you don't actually own the world your immediate attention.
I want you to notice something right now.
Not about Gen Z, not about the systems, not about the internet, but about yourself. Notice how rare it is to just sit with an idea without immediately converting it into an agreement or disagreement. We're trained to respond so fast that stillness feels uncomfortable, but discomfort isn't danger. Sometimes it's just unfamiliar freedom. When you don't react, it could feel like nothing is happening. No movement, no impact, no contribution. But that's only because we've been taught that visibility equals value. Gen Z is quietly rejecting that idea. Not because we're passive, but because we've seen what happens when everything becomes a performance. Silence doesn't mean abstinence. It means containment. It means choosing not to leak your energy into systems that don't deserve it. There's a difference between waiting and hiding. Waiting is active. Waiting means I see the environment. I understand the incentives. I'm not rushing just to feel relevant. That's not fear, that's patience with teeth. I think one of the biggest misunderstandings about Gen Z is that people are waiting for us to erupt, for a movement, a wave, a moment. But I don't think change is going to arrive like that. I think it's going to arrive quietly, in a way that doesn't trend and doesn't scale. The leader Gen Z responds to isn't going to look like a leader. They won't be the loudest voice, they won't dominate the room, they won't consistently remind you that they're in charge. They'll be the one who doesn't panic in silence, the one who doesn't need to speak to prove they're real. And honestly, that person might never even call themselves a leader. Guys, I'm out of time for today. I apologize if this video seems like one of those 2010 I have a dream motivational hype videos that you usually watch at 1 in the morning. I may have gotten too into character with this one, but I'd really appreciate if you guys would voice any compounding thoughts from this video. I really like to hear what you guys